Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Monday night build show. Tonight, we build. And what are we building, you ask? Well, tonight, we're building a AMD Ryzen 7 7700X system. The CPU is got 8 cores, 16 threads. It's cooled by Deepcool LS720 cooler. This guy over here. As well as plugged into a MSI B650 Pro Wi-Fi motherboard. So we do not have any of those AMD issues that people are talking about currently. 650 is good. We're going to be doing the BIOS update anyway. We've got 32 gigs of DDR5 RAM. This is the Flare X5 by G-Skill. That's 32 gigs at 6,000 megahertz. Got the AMD Expo. Got a 2TB M.2 NVMe Gen 4 SSD. We're going to be powering it with a 750 watt gold power supply. And the customer had actually provided this graphics card, which is an RTX 2060 to put in there. I believe it's the 2060, possibly the Super. Just the 2060. 2060, 6 gigabytes, 192-bit GDDR6 by Zotac. They provided that to put into the system because they already had it available for the build. So this is the build that we're going to be doing tonight. We also got some fans to add into the case itself. The case that we're building in is the Fantex Eclipse P600S. So specifically, they wanted a gray looking case. This is the case that we selected. It's big. It can hold big parts in the future if they ever go to upgrade, as well as has some really good cooling. And then, of course, we have some cable extensions to throw in there as well. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. With this build. We're gonna probably blow through this build real quick because I've got some other stuff I got to do tonight before we can end the night. So how's everybody doing tonight? Hold on, I'm fixing my chat window. There we go. This is the new AMD LGA socket, where all the pins are on the motherboard. AM5 socket. So, honestly, never thought AMD would switch to this. So unique with their pins being on the CPU. Owned that. Never thought they would. But they did. Alright, and then we just installed our 32 gigs of DDR5 RAM into A2B2. And we're going to get this SSD installed as well, underneath this heatsink. Looks like we do need a tag.
Hey, what's up?
Rose. Alright, so there we go. We got our AMD CPU installed, our M.2 Gen 5 SSD 2 terabyte, and our 32 gigs of DDR5 installed and ready to go. I'm going to set this aside. We're going to get the case out. Monster of a case. Got glass hinges. Our glass side panel that's hinged. Got a back side panel that's hinged. Also insulated to damper the noise on the back side. Really good with dampering noise. Makes it a little quieter. We got to take the top off there so we can get to the top mount radiator. We'll be top mounting it. We'll take the front mount off. Removing these two fans here, placing them with the fans that we purchased. There we go. We got it down to bare bones, basically. Mounting hardware kit, which is located here in this box. These are additional hard drive trays that are also that came with the. Oh, we're probably not going to be using them. Definitely not going to be using them. But look how fancy this is. It comes with a beautiful case for your screws, and everything's there for you, all organized. Super easy to build, super easy to strip down all around this case. All my studs are in the right places. We'll slap the motherboard in here. And then use 9 screws to mount the motherboard. There we go. We got 9 screws in there, so it's ready to go. We can stand this bad boy up. Focus on the cooler. Cooler's going to be mounted in like so. We need to make sure the fans are coming in on this side. Also need to make sure the fans are exhaust, not intake. Important to put fans the right way. You'll have an undesirable airflow. And we've got 12 screws up here, 4 for each fan. And we mount the cooler to the case. Nice about this cooler is that those fans are daisy chained, so you really only just have the one cable coming off the fan, but we do also have a pump that needs to get connected back to the chain. So I have a second cable coming off of it right now, which is what that was, if you noticed that. Okay, our cooler is mounted beautifully. Real nice and sharp. Now we just need to get our actual pump mounted to the socket. We've got that kit for that. Gonna remove the stock brackets. Add the deep cool brackets, all our studs. We're just gonna move 2 of these screws at a time. And right after we remove those, we're gonna add the deep cool studs. That way the back plate doesn't drop back behind the motherboard there. These studs will hold it in place for us. Simple. Little trick that you could do, because if you don't do that, your back plate behind the motherboard drops out. Then you got to try to hold it in place while you're trying to put it in. That's kind of a pain in the ass. So now we're going to wipe this thermal paste that has been pre-applied to the block here. We're wiping that off and we're going to replace it with thermal grizzly. I'm going to set that here. Oh. Clean that off. Clingy, shiny copper. Nice and new. Shiny. Alright, now we've got these 2 brackets that we need to put on the bottom of the block here. We're going to try to keep the hoses on the bottom of the pump like this, so it mounts like that. These are the 2 brackets we have to use. And the screws for that. They are right here. Now, got a clear bottom on the copper block for the pump. We're just gonna drop this in place here smoothly. And we have these little nuts, bolts head on them. We can secure our block to the CPU. Get these started here until I feel resistance, then I'll come back around and tighten them down. Whew. This case has plenty of space up at the top with the AIO radiator fans up at the top. We could actually do a radiator fan sandwich with push-pull on the radiator, but really no need to do that with this setup. There's plenty of airflow, but you could do that. There's plenty of space here. You could definitely fit another 25mm fan in there in the sandwich without having any issues with space. So I wasn't too worried about that this go around, which is why I didn't have to really do all the cables before I put the pump or the AIO radiator in. Didn't really have to do or deal with any of that. But right, and then we just have a couple more cables here for the E and the CPU fans. Yep. So we just got a couple of EPS 24-pin and whatever else the case has to offer to plug in peripherals. USB, front panel, audio, power button, all that good stuff. Let's actually go that and get that started. USB-C. Well, our front panel, power, USB-C, audio, front panel. That's this guy. Go there. Oh. All right. And USB-C to flip over. That's about it. Not that that's not a lot, but saying it's Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Huh. These up here. Screws down here. Looking at our power reset button, power LED, the JFP1, three, goes in at the bottom here. And then our HD, front panel HD audio. For the audio jack's usually at the front of the PC. Go. And we got our power cables we can go ahead and do. Our EPS 24 pin. Using gray power cords. Gray and black. Two, CPU, two. These cables don't want to work with me tonight, so we'll just let them do what they want to do. No point in fighting them. Alright, so I'm going to put some cable combs on the EPS, 8-pin EPS cables. There's 2 of them that we got to do, so a total of 16 pins for this board. Usually you don't have to do both, but I like to do both just in case there's ever any type of overclocking. Nice to have it already plugged in, and it helps. It's not really a requirement, just a nice thing to do for overclocking in the future, or future overclocking. Yes. Hello? You going night-night? Hold on. boy. Alright, we're back. Finishing up the cable combs on the EPS cables. The last one, minus the 24 pin next. .24 pin. Cable comes on the 24 pin. Yeah, 24 pin all done. Hey Nacho, what's up, man? How are you doing? I'm doing pretty good over here. I'm just building the next PC, you know? The next latest and greatest power build. What are you up to tonight? Been quiet, kind of a quiet night for me over here. I don't mind because we're just blowing through this build pretty quick. I'm a little tired today, too. I don't have all the pep I usually have. But it is Monday, after Mother's Day. The day of drinking. I mean, not drinking, but celebrating your mother. Kind of unbalanced with the 2060, though. I know. Trust me. I know. 2060 is a card that they had, so they wanted to put together a really nice platform so that they can upgrade later, and the RTX 2060 is a card they had, so they just wanted to start with the 2060 and then upgrade later. So they're putting what they have money-wise into the build now, setting it up so they just have to swap out the graphics card later, which is fine. It's great. It's a great find just helping a friend with a broken fan. Oh, nice. What broken fan do we have? But yeah, the 2060, I definitely agree with you. It's a little unbalanced. I don't even build with 2060s anymore, really. I mean, if it's a 2060, it's going to be a 3060, and that's soon to be a 4060. So, rare that I even come across these 2000 series cards. I still have my own 2080 Ti, but that's a 2080 Ti. I still can combat with a 3070, so, or keep up with. Could be worse though. I did one with an Ryzen 7 5700X and a GTX 750 Ti. Oh, jeez. Yeah, this is a card. It's a local customer, so they came by, dropped the card off, and was like, "Hey, let's just throw this in there for now. We don't have to spend, $500 on a decent graphics card." Or instead of buying a 3000 series card, because I think they want to target like a 4060 Ti. So they're really just waiting. It's honestly what it comes down to. They just don't want a 4070 because they're too much. And I agree. They're a little too much. So what he's doing is fine. He'll be happy with this. He'll be able to start gaming. Get up on a platform that's upgradable. And it's not an X570 by Asus, so... That's a whole nother can of worms. Like I said before, I hope Asus is taking the right steps to mitigate their problems there. I haven't really paid attention to them since the weekend, before the weekend, so I don't know for sure what has happened or changed since then. But I'm sure they had to put out some sort of response to Gamers Nexus and Jay's 2 Cents and other channels that ripped Asus a new one. Especially if Asus cares about their company quality, brand. You're waiting on the RX 7600. The rumors are true. Ending cost is around $250. That would change the market. Oh, hell yeah. If a 760 is anywhere near the performance of like a 3060 Ti, 3070, that would be kind of dope. I don't know anything about the 7600 yet. I know that they were targeting, like the $300 range. Your reference model probably starting around $250, and then the aftermarket models like the Power Cooler, XFX, MSI, Asus, those are probably going to be around $300 and some change for the 7600. But even so, if they're anywhere near like a 3060 Ti, they are so totally worth it. Or even a 70 or a 6700 performance. Honestly, 300 is still good. Yeah, it's in today's market, that's still a good price. And honestly, that's all you really need to game. You don't even need like a 3070 or 4070 or any of those higher end cards. You really don't need it for gaming. If you're just gaming and you're okay with like 1080p, 1440p, that's really all you need. Although again, I don't really know the performance yet or stats of that card. I really can't speak too much on it yet. But I mean, she's looking pretty right now in here. You wanted a gray looking build, we got them a gray looking build. Alright, last thing we want to do is swap some of these case fans out. And then slap a power supply in there, do some cable management, and fire this bad boy up. Kind of blowing through this build actually pretty quick. Probably should have unplugged these first. Didn't think of that. Back to the stupid, Ben. All good. We got it. We got this. Get another black 140mm fan to my collection. I have a pile of 140mm fans. All brand new. Came out of cases. Don't know what to do with them. Usually I just throw them in builds to fill out fans and things when they don't purchase extra fans. So I can't not do that. Can't help it. True, the RTX 3060 Ti, 67XT are all you need to play AA games. Oh yeah. More than enough performance to be satisfied with it. If you're looking for like 4K and up, you're definitely going to need a little bit more horsepower. That is the truth behind it though. And I do get a lot of people that come in here thinking they could spend like $1,500 on a PC and get a 4K gaming PC. And I'm like, bruh, 4K and they want 144 hertz, 165 hertz. Like 1,500 is not going to cut it. I don't know why the 1,500 is 4K is the $1,500 budget. People use all the time. These are Fantex fans. These are the SK PWM fans. So it's the SK 140s. They're addressable RGB, or they say DRGB, which is digital RGB, but it's addressable RGB 5 volt. Just on their own special little cable dingleberry, which is actually the same cable as Deep Cool, by the way. So if you need a Fantex cable and you don't have one, but you have a Deep Cool cable, you can use the same cable. It's the same cable. I tested that theory. Even 4K is really hard to, if you don't use FSR or DLS. Oh yeah. I mean, through 4K. The only reason I do have a 3080 is because I do a lot of VR gaming. So that makes sense, because when you have a screen that's right up on your face, you need a higher resolution, or you can see all the little pixels. That makes sense. You need a really high resolution for your screen that's right up on your face. But for VR, I always recommend higher end. I guess depending on what title they want to play too, but for the most part, I push them towards a higher end card. K 60, yes, for 4K 60. 60 frames per second on 4K is a lot harder than people think it is. And then they're like, oh, you need to buy a 4K monitor? And then I have to educate them on the monitors. Because you can't just drop a bunch of money on a 4K build and not have a 4K monitor, or you're just wasting a bunch of money. Then I teach them about how expensive 4K monitors are that run at the hertz that they're looking for. And they're like, oh. I'm like, yeah. Not an inexpensive hobby. Very expensive hobby. I think I just... Not a cheap hobby. Anyway, I know you get it. Quite the adventure. Some folks. Then I've been getting a lot lately. A lot of people hit me up asking me, what is it going to take for me to do like a partnership with them so they can get a free PC through me? And it's like, bruh, I'm not making money. I like helping people out and doing partnerships like that, but also need to make money. Although I am going to be doing a couple of giveaway options here shortly. This sucks. Or fell through the crack. Just because we haven't done one since I think December. So it's probably time to just do another giveaway. Right? People enjoy those. I hope it lands to somebody local again, because no offense to anybody that's listening that isn't local, it was cool meeting them. Fun. A lot of fun. So, that's the only reason. But if you're not local, no big deal. I will still think it's cool. Cables in here. Fighting back. Stop fighting back, cables. Okay, so 3 140mm fans do fit. I was skeptical. That it did, but it didn't look like it. Feel here, I'm making my own store. Focusing on content creators in my country. Nice. That's the only problem with the content creators if you're working with them. Everybody expects you to do like a free PC for them. And then they recommend your brand, and it's like, it's not how it always works. And I try to help out a few here and there where I can. But I can't keep up with margins on PCs suck. I think people understand that. You don't make a lot of money off of a PC build, especially if you're staying competitive. So it's not like I'm making a shit ton of money building these. Mostly because I enjoy building them. Just a side note. Here we go. 3 140mm fans that are addressable RGB. Ready to go. Get the fan UVM plugged in, and so the key. Anybody see that? It's like, we had the window open earlier, but it has the screen. Apparently there's a fly in here. And did anybody else see that? I just picked him out of the sky. Hopefully none of the platforms like watching me or get upset with me getting rid of a fly. I haven't had a fly in my house in like 6 months. Jesus. No big deal. Hey, Mr. Mr. Duck, 72 fans. Oh boy! There's not 72 fans. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 total in the build, plus the power supply is 10. If you're including the graphics card and the power supply. There's only 10. Yeah, I did the numbers, and literally I earned more money being a consultant than building PCs. Yes. You understand. But I love building PCs. Same here. So, talking about how much I have to buy for each piece, or how 72. What? How much I have to buy for each PC? Oh, okay. Like what? $72 in fans? I'm lost. Mr. Duck, honestly, no, I'm lost now. Bring me up to speed, Scotty. Yes, I do love building PCs, and that's the main reason why I do it. I wish there was better margins involved, but there is not. It's a crowded space, and it's very competitive. It's really hard to get into it, make a buck. That is the truth. Thing. And almost, hey, how's it going, Brett? What's going on, man? We're just building another PC late at night. And almost all the margins are gone when you have to ship the PC to the other side of the country. So that's one thing I do not do. I do not eat the cost of shipping. I do not eat the cost of processing a card. So if somebody comes to me and says, I want to use my card, they pay for that. I do not. Because it's not my fault that they want to spend. I mean, I eat some of it. I won't lie. I eat some of it to mitigate the cost, but I truly try not to eat that cost. Because the margin is so small. Just got home from work, saw you were live, so wanted to stop in. Hey man, thanks for stopping in. How was the good old Micro Center today? Everything good over there? Hey, Brett, maybe you have some inside information for us. Do you know when the 7600 is going to be released by AMD? I honestly haven't looked into anything outside of knowing the price is going to be like ballpark 250. And I'm like super excited for that card, and so is Nacho over here. We're both excited for that card. Honestly, haven't heard much about the 7600. They've been super quiet this year. Like last year during the 3000 release and the 6000 release, I feel like there were a shit ton more leaks of, oh my gosh, now the hype this year is just so down. Nobody really gives a flying shit about new cards coming out, I feel like. There's not as much hype last year. Like last year I was making posts about the cards and I was getting a lot of attention just by talking about the cards on posts and on Twitter. This year, not so much. Nobody really cares. Either that or everybody's just broke and they don't want to spend the money, which I don't blame them. Best processor for gaming due to the 3D cache is AMD Ryzen 9 7950 3D good. Yes, they are the best. Just for a side note, currently with not knowing the direction of Asus, I would probably stay away from the Asus brand and just go with MSI, just for awareness. Bet all the MSI boards are flying off the shelf and Asus aren't selling. But yeah, definitely a good processor for gaming because of the 3D cache that you got on there. Although the Intel 13900K is right up there with it, so very minimal differences between the two, if I remember correctly, right? Just comes with a little bit different Intel XMP profile issues. Asus needs to either do something to fix the issue or come out with a statement and a plan. Yes, definitely they do, because there's a lot of pissed off creators that work the industry and talk about the industry, and not like it used to be where they could just hush hush and put it under the carpet. Now everything's pretty much public, and you're under a lot of heat now with public opinion. They can't really get away with much. But yeah, they need to come out and either recall the boards and get new inventory out, or accept RMAs, because it's their problem. Ours. Most of the cards don't have the same mind-blowing jump performance that the RTX 3000 and 6000 had years ago. Correct. 100% true. Huge amount of performance boost. Performance leap, anyway, between the generations. Miss Ties! The 13900K is like 2% better than the 7950X 3D in general, but when it comes to gaming, the 7950X 3D blows the 13900K out of the water. I thought they were pretty close. Like close. Close enough to the point where you could go either way. But you're saying Team Red. Alright. I believe you. I just have to go back and double check myself because I thought they were close, if I remembered correctly. Is it under certain circumstances that it's better, or is it like, for example, under like 4K is it better versus 2K and 1080p? Maybe I was looking at those benchmarks. Probably was. Shit. Come back here. This power supply has the PCIe or ATX, whatever you 5.0 shit, right? Nice. Because give her upgrades, he has a 600 watt cable here ready to go on the power supply. So this probably should not be running a 600 watt card. Maybe a 4070 tops. 4070 Ti maybe. That would be the limit on this power supply. So the reason why I put all these power cables in here on a modular power supply is because I've had too many customers bring builds back for upgrades, but throw out the cables. So I've stopped doing that. Door entry. Back door entry. So we're going to be entering from the back door, not the side. Yeah, it's mainly 2K resolution. I think they are pretty similar at 4K. Maybe that's what I was looking at. I mean, MSRP for the 4090s was $1,599. The ones that sell at Micro Center are anywhere from MSRP to $2,199. Yeah. I just found I was looking for a MSI Supreme X liquid 4090 today. You guys had one in stock that was open box, and I do not trust open box, especially for super high-end builds. So I ended up having to grab one at Newegg, which was at Newegg for $1,799 from Newegg Business with free shipping. So I was able to get that as close to MSRP as possible. Shopping around for one. I had been shopping around for a while, and they were in stock, so grabbed one. How much do you charge per PC? Yeah, I don't trust open box very often either. It has to be like a super cheap part for me to do it. Something that I can just buy and replace. How much do I charge per PC? Usually the margin is about 20% of the build, but it's not always the case. So if I'm doing a build and it's $2,000, $200 margin, that's usually a percentage. So the lower the cost of the build, the less of a margin I have. For doing super cheap builds for me, I make literally nothing. But mostly the build fees average out to about 100-ish per build, maybe 150. That's closer to the average than a whole lot. That is the secret behind it. The math is 20% usually, and that's what I was talking about earlier. Margins on PCs suck. You don't make nearly as much as you think a builder would be making. I have to pick up a 3 to 4 Strix 4090. Oh, nice. 3,000, 4,000, or 3 to 4. You have to pick up 3 or 4 of them? So if my PC costs around 7 to 8K, no, I would give you a deal on that. I wouldn't charge you 20% of 7 to 8K. That's more of a custom build. Yeah, they range from... So I'm pretty competitive when it comes to my pricing. So. All I gotta say. Everybody says I'm like super cheap. I don't think I am. Like super cheap. I think I'm fair. What I am. I don't think I'm like super. I get that comment a lot on Twitter. I actually have people telling me I need to increase my prices, and I'm like, bruh, if I do that, then I'm not being very competitive. That's the problem. Very competitive market. But there's really no secret behind it. That would be like 1.5K to build. LOL. No. I would not do that to you, Mr. Duck. I've seen the Trip 4090 for 2100. Yeah. The Strix card. You can actually get the 4090 Strix right now. I think closer to 1800 right now. I've seen a few of them there. The OC version, probably 1900-ish. 18, 19. I've seen them. They're not selling right now. They're not moving. And maybe Brett can correct me if I'm wrong, because he's probably seeing it more. But I have not seen them sell very much right now. And their prices have been dropping. At least that's what I've been seeing. Me, it's like working in a bank. We have the OC Strix for $19.99. Yeah, that's not bad. Me, it's like working in a bank. You have to move thousands of dollars a day, but at the end of the day, you only keep a few hundreds. It's pretty much how it is. And it sucks because you also get taxed on all that shit too. That's another topic. If you want to go down that can of funness. There's a lot of topics if you want to learn about PC building industry. Really, the goal is to build the PC for as cheap as possible, meaning cut your costs as much as possible by getting your components for cheaper. That is the only way you increase your margin. That is the only way you do it. Or you increase your price and become more expensive than your neighbor. Then your neighbor gets all the sales. That sucks. But that is the game. I'm actually going to be doing a little bit of IT work, I think, to supplement business, because it's just not going to cut it. I need more labor work than product sales. I don't know how to do that. Like, I have some ideas, but I don't know. Need to figure something out. And I spend way too much time zip tying shit. Doing cable management. And there's that. Put it this way, we got about 6 last week. We got 1 to 2 remaining. Yeah, it's not moving. I mean, that's just business in general. Oh yeah, for sure. Business in general, selling a product. You sell a lot of product. You're selling with your labor business, meaning make your money off of labor, make more money, because your product is labor. I'm not here to make $1 million, I'm just here to build PCs, but at the same time, still need to cover the bills. I hate how that ended up here. Hate it. I will probably come back and dick around with it. That's why I focus on content creators, pros, because no one is making PCs for them in the area. Well, that's a bonus for you. You have an extra bonus there if nobody's making PCs in the area for them. I mean, my real only competition here in Michigan is Micro Center. Outside of that, there's a couple of smaller shops local around here. My competition, direct competition, and then my next direct competition online are all those big companies that say they build gaming PCs. Some of them are good. I'm actually very impressed with the Legion. by Lenovo. Actually impressed by that build, that series. If only one of those companies would listen to the reviews that they get, they might stand a chance and just kill all the private builders. Because they could do it for way cheaper. Most of them can get the parts for way cheaper. Alright. Done ranting on that. Let's put the back. Stand it up. Let's get the cover top. I got the parts piled up here. Front panel. Top panel. Hey Brett, have you ever built into this case before or seen it before? The Fantex P600 Eclipse P600. This thing is super nice, very close design to like a Be Quiet. It's designed for silence. Because it's got a panel that we could put here to actually dampen the noise, though it restricts the airflow. I'm probably going to tell them to leave that panel off. It's going to be my recommendation. The front and the top, same thing. Got a filter here. The whole top comes off, very nice and easy, modular. And it's got the cover on the top to dampen the sound. These guys, as an example, you could just cover it up. Oops, I put it on the wrong way. And it really restricts the airflow, but kills the noise. And then the back panel also has a noise dampener, which helps dampen the noise. Door on both sides. Hinged door. Although I like Corsair's design better, where they put a screw in the hinges to make sure it stays on. Personally, I like that better. Alright, let's clean this up real quick, and then I will get this plugged in and we'll fire it up and see if I built it right. See if I forgot to plug something in. Only done that a few times. Case is super fancy. Price, nice. And it fits all the big components too. Oh. So I'll switch the camera here around before we fire it up, so don't worry. I actually really like these B650 Pro Series. And compared to like, oh. All right, we'll flip the different screen or a different camera real quick. Honestly, for a little while, I thought that was the Leon Lee Land Cool. Haha, it's not. I gotcha. No, actually, I love the Land Cool 216 or the Land Cool 3. Land Cool 3s are actually pretty cool. I just I don't get a lot of build requests in those though. All my cases are Leon Lee. Yeah, that's mostly what I build in, is Leon Lee or Fantex. Some Montex, but mostly dominantly is Leon Lee and Fantex. I got an MSI build coming up here in probably a week. Like mega MSI. So just the Supremex liquid is actually going to be in that MSI build. And I finally got that beast done behind me. I'll flip the camera around and show you. But we'll fire this up and see how this runs. It's just rare that I actually find another streamer from Michigan. On the Landcool 216, it's a great case. Dude, the Landcool 216, and I've been saying this for a long time, should be case of the year for its value. And I know you've heard me in past streams probably say that, but I mean, the value, the best bang for your buck, the Landcool 216, all the way, 100%. You cannot beat that quality and what you get in the build, and it's customizable, so you can put, like, for example, a fan on the back of the PCI slots. It's like badass. So 100%. In Argentina, there are like only 6 states that have all the streamers because are the only ones with good enough internet quality, oh geez, or access to all the gear without trouble. Man, I'm waiting on Samsung Odyssey G957 Edge. Holy shit, what do you need that for? Is that for racing sim? So I might go with the Samsung Odyssey G959 inch. Man, I don't know where you have the money for that. Good for you though. I won't even buy one of those. They're just stupid expensive for me. To me, it's just like, I guess I'm more of like an RTS player and a FPS player, first person shooter player, so I really don't have a need for it. Maybe on my racing sim that I have over here, but most of the time Max just sleeps on it, my dog. So I don't get to use it. I don't have time for race. Just waiting on that DDR5 training, memory training. You can see where I touch my screen. Still got a black screen. Whoops. There we go. Now we got something. Press F1. There's our BIOS. So we've got a solid post. All of our fans are spinning. We have addressable RGB going. What more can you ask for? It posted. By the way, I love these deep cool coolers. Although I am a bigger fan of the Arctic freezers. Ben, please tell me it's a typo in the title. You didn't put a 2060 with a 7600X, did you? Oh, Brett, I did. But there's a reason behind it. So this is a customer-provided graphics card. They provided the card for the build because they didn't want to buy a new card right now. So this is a used card that they wanted in this newer platform build so that they can upgrade a card later. So that is why there's a 2060 with a 7700X. Everybody calm down. I have to provide an explanation all the way through the stream. Why would you do that? I know it hurts my soul. A little bit. But it should be fine. I mean, they're going to be probably just... They're honestly probably just going to be playing 1080p. No joke. It's a 2060, I think. It is a 2060. Not even a super. Just, it's a 2060. You're waiting, but I'll allow it. The bottleneck is crazy. There is no bottleneck. I think that was a troll. Got it. So it's posted. We're good to go. But yeah, the 2060 is the card that we had to go with for the build. I mean, makes sense for them because, like I said, they were looking for, I think, like a 4060 Ti, waiting for that to come out, and they might even go AMD, but none of the like lower cards are out yet, so we're kind of in a weird pattern. So he's like, I really don't want to put in a new card and go all the way up to like a 4070. I don't want to spend that much money. So he's just going to use this card for now. No big deal. You sit on a throne of lies. Next PC. Oh, you want me to build another one? The only other one I got is like a... Well, I've got two back here to build right now. One is inventory, and the other one is that Phoenix build that I still haven't done because the glass isn't done yet. Still waiting on the glass. You could do it. It's only 10:40. Normally I would, but tonight I am actually tired. I do have two builds back here to do. If we absolutely had to do one. I just don't want to do that Phoenix build until like tomorrow or Wednesday. I've been pushing that off because I'm waiting on the glass to be done so I can have the complete product here. And the glass still isn't done. So, getting itchy for that build. You have an ETA on the glass? It was supposed to be done last week. Tuesday, last week. That's where we're at. Oof! Yeah. So I've been kicking that can down the road all week. It sucks too, because paint looks awesome. It's that paint that I did on the Corsair 7000D airflow. Turned out really nice. Can't wait to see it. I know. Just waiting on that. I just wanted the whole product here for the stream so we could show it off. Because the glass is supposed to turn out pretty badass. Like a Phoenix looking tattoo on the glass. It's going to be right around here on the build. So it's going to emit well with the RGB backlight that we have. We also have a big screen, I think like a 8.5-inch screen for temps and stuff too. So it's pretty nice. The moment you told me about it at the store, I got super excited. I like to do those types of builds. There's just not a lot of people that want to spend the money on the custom experience, like the custom case paint, and that's really where I have a lot of fun. And that's where I make more money because of all the extra time involved. But anyway, this build back here. Maybe I could just bring it over here. See if I could just shoot this bad boy over. This build is badass. But it's also the nightmare build. It weighs like 1,000 pounds. Something just fell. Alright, let me switch different camera. This is one I've been working on lately for a while now. that the P3 or P8? It's the Thermaltake P whatever has the entire back as the distro plate. That's what that is. I can't remember the model number on that case. But let me walk you through this build and the experience I've had. I've been working on this for a long time. So, number one, we had all of this plumbing done, but we wanted to redo it. So, meaning we weren't exactly happy with the bends, and then he wanted to do these elbow styles later. Thought that would look cooler. We're like, okay, well, that costs more money, so let's do that. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, we ended up with doing the elbows with the bends instead of doing bends. Except for we have a couple of bends up here, which that's another conversation up there. So anyway, we had to rebuild this 3 times now, and in between those 3 times, I also found problems, one of which being this Lian Li strimmer was bad on the GPU, which anytime you have to go in the back, you have to unplumb the whole thing to get to the back of the PC because it opens up like a door. Right here, it's hinges right here on this side, so it opens up like a door. It is a pain in the ass. Will I ever build in this case again? The answer is no. I have spent so much time putting it together, firing it up, finding something's wrong, having to take it back apart, breaking seals on the pipe, on the compression fittings, and then having to replace those, or the O-rings, just as an example. And the cable management in the back is so stupid bad. There's no room for cable management. And at some point I had cables down here, and he didn't like that, so then I had to rework it and make all the cables fit in the back here. So I have every cable in this build crammed back behind this motherboard, which you could see is only about a ½ inch, maybe an inch of space. There's not a lot of space back there. And there's Thermaltake hubs. There's 3 Thermaltake hubs, and there's supposed to be Lian Li hubs, but I ended up putting that on the back here so that we can control the RGB from the controller if we needed to. I'll be taping that up. But I didn't want to have to go in the back to get the controller again if we had to. Did not want to have to deal with that. But it turned out badass. So it is super badass looking. That's the 350p, yes. 350p, the P stands for pain in the ass. Once you get all the parts and the money, again, send 7Ps for you to build. Okay. I'll do it, man. I have a PC case called the Crow. What if I gave you 1 million, but you had to build in that case? I don't think I could do that. I don't think I could do that. Props given. So yeah, the experience building in this case, if you ever have somebody asking about it, it is a nightmare. Especially if you're doing hard tubing. But I mean, hard tubing is the only way to do it nowadays, because I mean, it's cool. It looks so much better. But yeah, it was the biggest pain in the ass ever. Today we finally got it like completed, pressure tested, and now it's ready to be filled again. And I'll probably find out something like the pump burnt out while I was fucking around with it, because I did have to power it on just to make sure all the lights turned on before I put it back together with no liquid in it. And I had it closed and the pump was already plugged into the back, so I couldn't just unplug the pump. You know, it's shitty. I don't like this case at all. Good content. Props given. Yeah, so I wanted to do like a review on this case actually and talk about that, because I don't think there's a lot of reviews out there. And I was actually looking for references on how people did their layouts, and I ended up going with this on my own. I ended up just thinking it all out and designing it, planning it, because I wanted it, he wants it as symmetrical as possible, I tried to keep it all as symmetrical as possible. But at the, the only other thing I could have done is bend here and bend down with these. But I mean, I think it looks good. I'm not. The weight on this one though. Oops. Oh yeah, that was my little stand. But the weight on this pipe, I don't like. I gotta figure something out there. A lot of weight pulling on it up here. A lot of weight there. Water cooling ain't my first gem for this type of thing. I'm an air cooler guy at the to the end. Yeah, man. It's definitely clean. Yeah, I try to do every build, even my water cooled builds that I do, like open loops. I try to do as clean as possible. But I mean, this build turned out great. I just gotta clean it up a little bit, fill it. The pressure test is good, although I do have to deal with this before I fill it. There's a couple of things I gotta do to it, and then we're golden. Keep it simple, throw in an IO. Exactly. I mean, the other problem that I ran into, the other couple of things, is I didn't put the radiator on the case. The guy who I am building it for actually put the radiator on first, and after I built it, I found out that the drain for the radiator on the bottom was underneath the lip. There's a little metal lip there, so you couldn't drain it. So I had to take it all apart, pull the radiator off, flip it around, so we could actually drain the radiator later. So planning that drain part is important for these types of builds. And then there's also a drain on the back of the reservoir as well. So we can literally almost drain the entire loop without having to shift it, which is kind of cool. So it makes it easy for maintenance in the future. Took a little extra time. How much did it cost for a custom paint case? I think the custom paint was, I think I only charged $250 for that last case. The 7000D. As long as we're just sticking a spray paint. Spray paint, $250. And it's usually just one design on the back, and then we just paint the grates or the vent, whatever you call it, panels. The mesh panels. Thank you. BRB. I think it was like $250 in labor. And the paint's not much. It's like $20 or $30. But it also depends on like the design you want. So what I really want to do for my next paint, because I'm going to do like an inventory build with some custom paint, is a white case. And I might even use one of these H9 flows that I have sitting here. I have a whole bunch of them. All in white. All the black ones that I had sold. But I want to do like a light blue icy look. Add some icy look around like the fans and stuff. That's kind of what I want to do. Might just sell the case painted. I wanted anime on one. Okay. Yeah, we could do that. For things like that are a little higher detail, I could try to make a stencil to spray paint, but I can't get into super detail with the paint. I could try, but I would probably go with more of a sticker or a panel route for anime. Like an RGB panel. Or, hear me out, or we could do an actual screen inside the PC with anime. And then just kind of color theme the rest of the case. A lot of cool ideas there. Ooh! Like an actual screen. But yeah, you can see this is just loose AF. I don't like that. Bothering the shit out of me. Even though it says it's sealed. Don't trust it. Don't trust it at all. Don't know how I'm going to support it. Well, anyway, guys, I am done for the night here. You have this awesome here and that awesome build there. So we got tons of awesome builds sitting here. But yeah, we could definitely do an anime build, so just let me know, Mr. Duck, what you want. I can start working on designs and give you some examples of what I'm thinking of. Like my mountain of cards. I either got to send this one back or it's got to be used. 4070 Ti. Been sitting here for like a month. Haven't had any 4070 Ti builds. I had quite a few of those just a little while ago. A whole bunch of 4070 Ti's builds. Like right when they came out. And then it's just kind of tampered off. Hey, Elijah, did you get my email? What's up, man? Did you get the email for the tracking and all that? UPS was actually supposed to be by here today. In fact, it's still sitting right here. They never came and picked up today. So I'm just waiting on them. They're supposed to be here. I called them. Verified they are picking up tomorrow. So I have a mountain of boxes that need to go. One of those is yours. So, yes, sir, you got it. Awesome. So yeah, just make sure you read the instructions there and let me know if you need anything when it does arrive, because the graphics card does need to be installed. The graphics card, which is this guy right here, on your build, that's pulled out and it's inside the packaging, inside the case. And you'll need a Phillips screwdriver to install it. But it doesn't take much to do it. It'll take like 5 minutes and I can walk you through it over the phone. So just let me know when you get it, and I am happy and here to help. And there's also packaging for awareness inside the PC, so you will have to take that out, which some of that packaging is your graphics card. That's just to make sure that it shows up in one piece, because 9 times out of 10, even with the foam packaging that people use, these graphics cards bounce out of the socket and then they kind of flop around inside the case and cause all sorts of problems. So I would rather take the card out and spend the extra, 10 minutes of support to walk people through it to make sure that you have a product that you receive in one piece and not damaged. I don't know if I go with Ryzen or Intel for the racing PC. Yeah, that's, I don't know, like we were talking about earlier, the AMD, like Brett was saying, depending on what resolution you're going at, it makes a difference. Like 2K, there's a big difference. 4K, not too much of a difference. I prefer that than a damaged one, definitely. But the way we ship them without the graphics card installed, we've had a 100% success rate for the last year So none of our systems have been damaged shipping that way. So that is how we're going to continue to do it. Retro PC gamer time. It's sad 2 4090s can't work together. No, because there's no such thing as SLI anymore. There is, but not. I don't think it's on the 4090 anymore, is it? I haven't even looked. I don't think it does. Yeah, I don't think they have SLI anymore. The Sly. I think you could have 2 4090s plugged in, but they're not going to work together. You could assign them different tasks. So, like, one of them handles, like, physics, and the other one does more rendering or something, I guess. But that's more for, like, 3D modeling or video editing or rendering in general. Let's use the expanding foam. Yes, I've used the expanding foam, and that has failed me too many times. Still. UPS, okay, so I've talked to UPS. I have a rep, and I have a UPS account, and I've got negotiated rates and all that fancy stuff. And basically, they told me the box has to survive a 6-foot fall. I'm like, no. And that's their rule. Even though it's fragile, high value, everything in the book. Really? Yes. Has to survive a 6-foot fall. And that's for any package being shipped through UPS. That's insane. I agree with you. Trust me, I gave him my opinion. Like, that is just the stupidest thing I've ever heard. But if you think about it, if it's in, like, top shelf of a truck, and it falls out of a truck, or if it falls off a conveyor belt in one of their facilities, it could be 6 feet tall easily. So there's that possibility. And I've had the packing foam fail too many times, so, or the expanding foam, sorry. I've used it before. Hey, Matt. Thanks for the stream, the like, sir. You know any good brands for keyboards? Oh, Logitech 100% all the way. I'm going to recommend Logitech for all the peripherals. Your mouse, your keyboard, your headset. Microphone, I'd say probably like a HyperX. What do you call those? Cloudcasts. They're pretty nice. That's what I'm using right now, actually. I like them. You do a lot with them. They're directional, so you can change the direction, which is nice. So if I have multiple people here, I can make it so that I could talk from this side of the mic and this side, and it picks it up, or I can talk 360. I like that feature, and I also like the fact it has tap to mute on it. Super easy. And then there's also volume on it that I can adjust right from the mic. So if I'm too loud or too quiet, I can adjust it, and nobody really sees me do it. But the Logitech keyboards, I would recommend 100% all day. That's what I use personally. Custom built keyboards are great, but you are more than likely going to be buying everything from different companies. Yes. There is a company local here in Michigan. It's called The Key Company. Go look them up. They're actually pretty cool. I know the owners. They're pretty cool. And Brett, if you haven't ran across them yet, they're pretty cool. Pretty cool group of guys. They used to work out of here in Lake Orion. Yeah, let me go find that link and see if I could just drop it in here. See if it'll let me do it. Anyway, it's the Key Company. They make a lot of custom type keyboards. I got them here. Found it? Nice. I don't know if this is actually going to send to you guys over there on Twitch from Restream. Oh, it did. Oh, that is cool. I just dropped it to all 3 major platforms from one chat. The more I use Restream, the more I like it. It is so much easier. It also took a huge load off my PC. So really, the only thing my PC is doing is cameras and the audio, and then setting it up to Restream, and then Restream is broadcasting it to the multiple channels, which is really cool, by the way. Really cool design. Little too expensive, in my opinion. Wish it was a little cheaper. Yeah, but the key company here, they're right out of Michigan here. I know the owners. They're super cool. Worth giving them a shot. They're, you know, a smaller local company over here. I was going to start carrying some of their products on my website, but I do want to test them out before I start doing that. So I haven't actually personally used any of their keyboards. I've only seen demos and whatnot. But really cool group of guys so far. So anyway, last time I'm going to say this. I'm bouncing for the night. But thank you everybody for stopping in and hanging out and chatting. I really appreciate all the conversations. There's a lot of educated conversations going on in here. I really like that. So, but for the most part, the next stream that we're going to be doing is going to be the Phoenix stream. I just don't know when I'm going to have that glass in. I'm hoping to have it tomorrow. And if we do get it tomorrow, I will for sure have a stream on Wednesday for the Phoenix build. So, time to remove one of my 4090s from my streaming PC. What? All right, Mr. Duck, have a good night. Brett, have a good night. Nacho, if you're still in here, man, you have a good night as well. Good chatting with all of you.
Mm-hmm.